For anybody just coming in, if you want to sign in the chat and just let us know where you are, say hi to everybody, and we are going to get started. So thank you all for being here. For those of you who are not people I've interacted with, and there are a few of you tonight, I am Kate Smith. I am the Organizations and Communities Manager for NGS. And I've been on staff for a few years now, and part of my job is working with our organization members. So I am thrilled that you're here for Org Connects. This is only our third Org Connects. So we are doing some things to reach out to people beyond the delegates who have delegate council meetings, and you'll hear more about that in a moment. But Org Connects is a chance for other people from our organization members to join us on Zoom and be part of conversations and get information that we think you might want or need, and just be a part of connecting and building up our community here with other organization members. So thank you for joining us this evening. We are going to do a few things tonight. We have an hour for this Org Connects event, and we are going to talk a bit about organization membership and the admin and delegate roles. We'll highlight a few benefits and resources with some new things and some updates. We have some people that we want to introduce you to, different leaders and staff who are involved in supporting organizations, and let you hear from some of them. We're also going to have some time for you to ask questions and talk to each other. The first half will be mostly sharing some information, and then the second half is going to be focused more on Q&A, trying to answer your questions and let you all share. And hopefully at the end of our hour, we will have done some good things toward strengthening this community and our connections with each other. And so to get us started, we do want to do a little more to see who's here. So Lauren, if you could run our first two poll questions, let us know what kind of organization you're with. Give that just a second. And so far it looks like we've got mostly society people, a few library people. All right, Lauren, if you want to close that out and share the results. And we can go to question number 2. What kind of role do you have in that organization? I'm guessing this may be a little more of a mix. We've got a few people that are staff, a lot of people who are board members and board officers. Lauren, you want to go ahead and end that and share those results? All right, well, thank you very much. It's nice to have an idea of who we have here this evening. And Lauren, thank you for doing our polls. With that, we want to get started with just a little bit of background information, since not all of you may be super familiar with some aspects of organization membership in NGS. So to kind of start at the beginning, we wanted to make sure there was a little bit of history. For those of you who may not be aware, NGS has been around for more than 120 years, but it has not always had organization members. For most of its history, it's been focused on individuals and offering them education to build their skills with genealogy research so they can make family history discoveries. A few years ago, they had a merger. NGS and the Federation of Genealogical Societies merged, and that created what we now have as organization membership. So since October of 2020, when the merger was finalized, that's offered societies, libraries, archives, museums, academic institutions, and some other organizations resources and community that are focused on helping them operate well and find solutions to challenges and hopefully grow their organizations and the genealogy community. And so we just want to start off by saying we're here for you. We are a partner for you as you carry out your mission, as you help people explore their past. NGS is somewhat unique in having both individual and organization members. And they are two different types of membership and they serve different purposes. And for the most part, they offer different benefits. But together, they make up NGS and support NGS's mission and help us serve the entire genealogy and family history community. So thank you for being organization members and for all you do to help people discover their past. Throughout this meeting, we want to introduce you to some people who are involved in that support for organizations. And so I want to start off tonight with our board of directors. We do have a few people from our board who are here. And we're going to put a link in the chat if you want to see who's on the board on the NGS website. If you are an NGS board member, would you please use the raise hand function or wave and just let people see for a second that you're here and say hello. We have Matt Menashes, who is the NGS Executive Director, as well as a few others from the board. And I do want to mention specifically, we want to thank our new president, David Rencher. Many of you know David. He is a longtime champion of genealogy organizations and a past president of FGS, in addition to now being the NGS president. And so he is a great supporter of you all and what you're doing and how NGS can serve you. So please know that the board absolutely is committed to you and to helping you. And so I want to highlight in particular one role with that. As part of the merger, NGS added a new officer role, the Vice President for Society and Organization Management. Up until recently, that role was held by Sherry Hudson Passy, and we appreciate everything she did in the initial years. And she has now passed that torch to Karen Malahan. And so I want to welcome Karen and let Karen share with you a little bit. So Karen, thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks, Kate. I'm glad to be here. This is a new role for me. I'm the past chair of the Delegate Council, so I've had some experience on there, and I look forward to working with the board on behalf of the organizations so that we can address any issues you might have about managing your organization, any services you'd like to provide that NGS can help you with, any opportunities that come up that are beneficial, like partnerships that we explore all the time, and ways to increase your membership, because all the organizations that I've talked to and we've heard about and did the survey on, the membership seems to be decreasing. So we got to work to figure out how to grow it and to meet everybody's level of genealogy or historical expertise that they have, and also to help you develop new leaders. So during the year, we'll be working on that. I work with the Delegate Council. I take information from there to the Board of Directors. We've got some things we're working on to make some changes, improvements, have some other opportunities for the organizations that we're going to have approved hopefully later this year. So that's where we're at right now, Kate.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. The next thing we want to talk about is admin and delegate information, because practically that's how your organization membership works. You've heard some references already to the Delegate Council, which we'll get into in a moment. And Lawrence put the link in the chat to an admin and delegate page on the NGS website that I hope you will take some time to review and share with other people in your organization. The admin and delegate roles are really how your organization participates in NGS. Those two roles were set up also as a result of the merger. And they are individuals who are linked to a role for the organization. They can be individual members of NGS, but they don't have to be. We do have admins and delegates who are not NGS members. And either way, they play a very important role in your organization's membership. So we have a third poll question. We wanted to just get a feel for your familiarity with those roles. So if you could fill that in, we'll see where we're at. So we've got several of our delegates and admins who are here. We do have some people in both. We also have a few people who are not familiar with the roles or who may be in them. And a few people who know who the delegate and admin is, but not them personally. So Lauren, why don't you close that out and share those results? I'll let everybody see that for a second. Thank you very much for sharing. So most of you are probably somewhat familiar then with the two roles. We wanted to just do a quick overview just to make sure, especially for those who may not be, that you have some information. So we'll start with the delegates. The delegates are the official representative of your organization with NGS, and they are the primary contact between NGS and your organization. They can cast your organization's vote in elections, and they are a part of the Delegate Council, which is an advisory body that has been holding quarterly meetings since May of 2021. Know that the delegate is your voice. We hope that they are sharing information from emails and meetings back to your organization, but also bringing your needs to NGS and sharing your ideas and the successes that your organization is having. The admin is essentially an account manager. They can access most of the online benefits. They can do things like pay the membership dues online, update the organization contact information, download PDF resources like the info and answers papers or board source resources, organization member logos and things like that. We also include the admins on some of the emails that NGS sends out as a second point of contact with the delegate. Right now, we have 535 member organizations, but only 341 admins and 245 delegates. So obviously there is a little bit of a disconnect there for some of our groups, that they are not fully getting information from us. And so you'll hear more about some things that are happening not only through meetings like this, but some outreach that's going to be coming up as we hope to get more people engaged and familiar with what's happening and get more admins and delegates in roles. And we want to make sure that you all have the most, that you're getting the most you can out of your membership. And you do that through the admin and the delegate. So with that, we want to talk a little bit about the Delegate Council Steering Committee. There is a group of them here. Most of them, I think, are here this evening. So kind of like with the board, if you're on the Delegate Council Steering Committee, would you please wave or use the raise hand function? Eric Vaughn, our vice chair, is here. Charity is the secretary. Jen Zink, Lori, I saw Lori somewhere. Lori Martin is here. We do have several people here, and that includes the chair, Matt Wisemantle. So we also are going to put a link in the chat if you would like to learn more about the steering committee and who's on it. And they are doing a tremendous amount of work, as are some other volunteers from the Delegate Council. And so I would like to welcome Matt Wisemantle, and he will talk to you a little more about the Delegate Council purpose and all the work they're doing at the moment. So Matt, I'll hand it over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Kate. I appreciate it very much. And thank you so much for being with us here this evening to all of our participants. I'm delighted to serve as this year's chair of our Delegate Council. I'm also the delegate from the Rogue Valley Genealogical Society in Oregon, and I personally live in New Jersey. What the Delegate Council is all about is building a community of genealogical organizations through collaboration, communication, and counsel. And the council itself is responsible for providing advice on genealogy and family history issues to the NGS Board of Directors, providing guidance to the board on how NGS can best serve genealogy and family history organizations and help you be more successful, and implementing programs that are delegated to it by the board or that delegates recommend and approve. And we'll talk about some of those today, along with, of course, today's program, which is OrConnect, which is part of our stable of programs for our members. Currently, there's approximately 549 members who participate on the Delegate Council, organizations that participate. And we are now 4 years past the merger of FGS with NGS. And I have to tell you that our delegate steering committee feels very much, along with the Delegate Council itself, that we have been working hard to get ourselves positioned and feel that we're in a good place for some new successes and opportunities over the next few years. So what I wanted to just point out to you are some of the Delegate Council organization subcommittees and task force that are underway. And just so you have an idea of some of the work that we're doing both for and in support of your organizations. One of the first things is our assessment subcommittee. It administered the first assessment late last spring, in which we were attempting to learn more about our member organizations and understand more of the issues and concerns that they have. Our second survey will be distributed later this spring. And I ask you to please keep your eyes out and please complete the survey when you receive it. It really is something that helps all of us. And if you have not seen it, please, your delegates can provide this, or we can certainly too provide a link to the information that was collected in last year's survey if you're interested in learning more about the delegate members. Our second group is a communication subcommittee that is working to enhance our communication and collaboration both within the council and with our constituents. We saw this as something that is becoming more and more critical. It was formed this past fall, and the committee has already been working to research both our current structures, how those can be improved or enhanced, and maybe some ideas for what we can do differently, or bring on new ideas that can help in our outreach. We have also formed an excellence task force that's in the middle of creating a recognition of excellence program for all of our organization's members. It has developed principles and good practices for organizations who are doing the work of bringing together folks in the genealogical community, how to do that well, how to be successful at that. And we're planning, most importantly, to use this material as the basis for the development of educational programs on organizational development skills and also operational strategies for our organizations to help you do things more effectively and more efficiently. We also have an organizational engagement task force. We have realized that we have members over the last 4 years as things have changed, who have been members or are a little bit out of being members, who need more information. And we'd like this task force to be able to do more outreach to our community attract folks back in, explain to those folks who are new to the organization more effectively what it's like to be part of the delegate council, and also find those libraries, those museums, those archives, and also those societies that are around the country that are not yet part of our delegate council, so that we're all working together. The more we have, the stronger we'll be, and the more we are speaking for genealogy nationwide. And lastly, we have an organizational resource and guide subcommittee that's updating educational material, including an older series of operational strategy brochures, first developed by the Federation of Genealogical Societies. These revised brochures, these new brochures that we hope to develop based on the feedback that we've received from the assessments will be posted online. And will be part of our resources that are already there as part of the NGS website. We hope those are something that you, your officers and members can draw on when they're thinking up new ideas, looking for ways to respond to leadership issues within the organization, or how to better organize events, evaluate events, or even respond to things, some of the new ones that have been discussed from some committees or from some of our members have been how to respond to disaster management for organizations, as we've seen things change with global warming across the nation, and also in the area of post-event evaluation. So those are all things that we're working on currently, and that are really, we think, can make a big difference. I also just want to bring to your attention that for communication with NGS, we have a program known as Forum, and it's a place for questions and answers that all members of NGS are able to participate there, or able to interact with other members. But we also have a specific area for our delegates to be able to ask questions, to explore ideas, to consider what's going on nationally. If your organizations have ideas or things they'd like to pursue and want to find out if other organizations have done this before or are looking for feedback on those, this is a place to go to. And we want everyone to be aware of that, and that this resource is available to you. And please, if you remember anything from this evening, I ask you to remember how crucial it is to have the best representative for your organization, who is able and interested in working as part of teams of other delegates on subjects and issues that will benefit all of us, and who will continually and actively seek your organization's input and feedback, while also providing regular updates to you about support resources that are provided through NGS, but also about national developments, opportunities, and issues that involve the entire genealogical field. So please think about that issue, and I hope this provides a little bit more context for you about the delegates. And again, thank you for being with us here tonight. And with that, I'm going to turn this back over to Kate.
Thank you so much, Matt. And thank you very much to the Delegate Council Steering Committee, and to the delegates who are here. You all are doing tremendous things for NGS and for the genealogy communities. Thank you so much. We now want to spend a short amount of time talking about some member benefits. We're going to put a link in the chat to the latest version of the organization member benefits guide. We're not going to walk through every benefit this evening. There's not a whole lot of time for that. So I do hope that you will go to that link. It's a PDF that you can download. Please go through it. Please share it with especially the leaders of your organization, but really anybody in your organization, so that they have some understanding of what the organization member benefits are. We are going to touch on a few things though this evening. And so I want to introduce one person that we are thrilled to be able to work with. Tammy Mize is here from Conference Keeper. And for those of you who may not be aware, conferencekeeper.org is now part of NGS. which is just, we are like over the moon about that. So we have an exciting announcement about organization member benefits, a new addition from Conference Keeper for 2025. So Tammy, I will let you talk about Conference Keeper.
Thanks so much, Kate. I'm really excited to be part of NGS as well. It's wonderful to be able to help and support so many societies this way. If you're not already familiar with conferencekeeper.org, it's a free online calendar of genealogy events. It's the official NGS calendar. So when folks go to the NGS calendar, it directs them to the conferencekeeper.org website. The calendar regularly has between 1,500 and 2,000 webinars, meetings, workshops, and of course, conferences, just about any kind of event that's genealogy related. So whether you're a society, an archive, a museum, or a library, it's completely free to submit your events for inclusion on the calendar. There's a submit button right there on the menu bar on the website. Adding the events is completely free, but if you'd like to bring extra attention to your event, we do have paid advertising that runs down the sidebars. A paid sidebar ad runs down the right side and also at the rotating ad at the top of the left column. So this is what the exciting benefit is that this year, every organization member receives 1 month or 30-day period free sidebar ad, which is a $40 value on Conference Keeper. And it's a great way to bring extra attention to an event that you might have coming up, or even if you just want to advertise your society, join our society. That's a great way to do it as well. So they can go any 30-day period. It doesn't have to be the first of the month to the 30th or anything like that. It's just a 30-day ad. You can get all the details about the sizes and your submission and everything on the website. Under the home button, there's an advertising link, and I think that Lauren's going to be posting that. Okay, great. And I just want to mention, we also have one other advertising option, and that's the email, the weekly email. We send out one email a week that links to our blog post where all of the events that have been added the previous week are posted. And we offer a single sponsorship for that email, and that's the only advertisement in the email. And it goes out every Saturday afternoon. It also posts on the blog page, and it's also discounted for NGS members for $40. That's not we don't have a free benefit for that, but the email goes to currently 6,400 engaged genealogists. It has an incredible open and click-through rate, and it's a great way to bring even more attention to your events. But the dates do tend to fill up, so if you're thinking you might want to do one, email me for email a date and I can reserve them in advance. It dates right now, I think I'm filled up through March already. So just email me. I'm always here to support societies and libraries and anything genealogy related. So you can always email me at info@conferencekeeper.org, and I am here to help as well. That's it.
Thank you,
Back to you,
Tammy.
Kate. Thank you.
Lots of love for Tammy and Conference Keeper in the chat, which is awesome. And Tammy deserves it. So thank you. Thank you very much. A couple of other things that we want to highlight really quickly. For those of you that may not be aware, we are doing several different partnerships that really are designed to benefit your organization. Last year, we started one with the Family History Guide. They have a wealth of resources on their website. There are lots of things that are available for you to use. Our last Org Connects event was with Bob Taylor from the Family History Guide, and our YouTube channel has that video if you want to go check that out and learn more about that partnership. What I want to mention right now is they just made an offer to you all. They have kind of large business card size pass-along cards, and they will send you up to 100 of them for free if you are in the continental United States. So it's a printed card that has some highlights of the Family History Guide website and a QR code. So they're easy things for you to use if you're doing outreach. Your organization can point people to some resources. So it's a super easy way to help connect people who, especially if they're just getting started with genealogy. And Amy says she's already ordered for her, so fantastic. So we are going to be putting the link in the chat. You can request the cards from the Family History Guide through their contact page. There's a link there to a form you can fill out. It is first come, first serve. And if you would like to have those, they would love to send them. We also have a partnership with Vivid Picks called Family Matters. For those of you who are not aware, we are offering a toolkit loan through Vivid Picks that's built around community engagement. The toolkit is a loan of the Vivid Picks memory station, along with software, some education, marketing templates, and support. And it's a great way for you to host free scanning events that will connect with people and groups in your community. And we hope you will check that out. We are putting, Lauren's put the link in the chat to a PDF you can download that has some information on the Family Matters program, and a link if you would like to request the toolkit loan. Vivid Picks CEO Rick Voigt is a great supporter of organizations. He's also involved in some work right now on things around photos and family history, and potentially helping people stay mentally healthy, and there's some possible uses working with people with cognitive decline, and there's some really exciting things there that you can potentially engage with as well. So lots of great things happening on that front. So we hope you will check that out. I also want to mention we have a partnership with WETA, the PBS station that produces Finding Your Roots. They are also involved with the fall 2025 American Revolution series by Ken Burns, and we're going to be getting you more about that. So start thinking about some things in terms of ways you might be able to connect with that for outreach. It might be partnering with a PBS affiliate station, or hosting your own events. And it's a great way to lead into America 250 in 2026. And I also wanted to let you know, with that, we have an America 250 toolkit coming out for you as well in the near future. But wanted to highlight a special event from another organization. The American Association for State and Local History is one of the groups leading America 250 initiatives. They have a virtual event coming up at the end of February, the 27th and 28th, called 250 Con. You can register for that. That link is going to be in the chat where you can get more information. It's going to be an opportunity to get ideas, plan, meet with state level people. So if you're in a particular state, you might be able to connect with people in your state around America 250, and it would be a great opportunity if it's something that you are able to register for. So definitely check that out. And then speaking of events, we also hope that you will plan on joining us in person in Louisville, Kentucky for the NGS Family History Conference in May. And Lauren, who has been putting all the links in the chat and helping host this evening, is our conference and meetings manager. And so she's going to talk to you a little more about the conference and some information specific to organizations.
Sure. Thank you, Kate. We are getting excited to see you all 23 through 26th May. The National Society of Sons of the American Revolution is headquartered in Louisville, and they're our local host society and an NGS organization member. They also look forward to welcoming you to the conference. NGS organization members can have up to 3 people attend the conference at the discounted individual member rate if those people aren't members. Details are on the site and in the link in the chat. Please fill out the request form by 25 April. The call for submissions is open for the 2025 SLAM Idea Showcase. Get your videos ready and enter to share the great projects and programs you've done recently and inspire others. Winners get a cash prize and recognition during the conference. Check out the details online and enter by 14 March. We hope you will also attend the Focus pre-conference event on 23 May, The theme is a pathway to the future for genealogy and family history organizations, and it will be a unique and fun experience at the Filson Historical Society. Their staff is planning 3 sessions that will benefit anyone from your organization. It will be a great afternoon of learning and building community. And finally, the conference registration early bird rate ends tomorrow, 31 January. So sign up now and save $50. If you're going to the conference, please let us know in the chat where you're excited to see you there. I'd now like to welcome Christy Sexton, co-manager of GRIP, to share a little bit about how your organization can be involved.
Thanks, Lauren. As a past delegate and previous member of the steering committee, I'm happy to be here. I would also like to recognize my co-manager, Gina Philibor Ortega, also my partner in crime. She's here with us tonight too. Say hi, Gina. We're inviting societies to become a sponsor of the GRIP Genealogy Institute and play a pivotal role in advancing genealogical education. GRIP is committed to providing high-quality, immersive learning experiences for genealogists of all levels for 2 weeks each year, 1 virtual in June and 1 in person at the University of Pittsburgh in July. With your support, we can continue to offer unparalleled opportunities for growth and discovery. Your sponsorship would directly support the educational experiences of hundreds of genealogists by helping us cover the costs of speakers, tours, and other essential services that make GRIP a standout event. As a sponsor, you'll invest in the future of genealogy, gain valuable exposure to a dedicated community of family history enthusiasts, and give your society or organization exposure on a whole new level. We have several ranges of budgetary needs to meet your needs. We hope you'll consider partnering with us to make this year's institute the best. Please get in touch with us with any questions or to discuss how your sponsorship can be customized to align with your organization's goals. Thank you for your continued support of genealogical education, and thank you for your consideration. Kate, back to you.
Thank you very much, Lauren and Christy and Gina. All right. Well, let's get into a little more kind of back to benefits, but also getting us into some of your questions. We've thrown a lot of information at you relatively quickly, and I'm sure you're thinking about a lot of things related to benefits and resources and a lot of other things. We do want to ask a final poll question. If we can, if you could let us know a little bit more about some of the topics you're interested in, especially things that you would want to connect with other people in this community on. You may have, depending on how you have your window set up, you may have to scroll down to see all the options. We are asking about this in some surveys and in different meetings and just trying to gauge a little more about where your interests might be and what you all might need and how you would want to connect with each other. So this will be helpful for us as we look at things to be planned in the future. Give everybody just another minute here. So far, definitely a lot of interest around membership, which is probably not a surprise to anyone here. A fair amount of interest also with volunteers and leadership, marketing and communications, programming, and a little bit with AI technology stuff. All right, Lauren, yeah, why don't you close out the poll and share the results? Let everybody see that for a minute. Very helpful. So thank you all for filling that out for us tonight. So we do want to open up the floor to you. There are several questions that have been asked in the chat, some of which we've kind of answered in the chat, but not entirely. Matt, I don't know if you want to mention anything about your answer about the split between the admin and delegate roles.
Sure. Yeah, we were asked in the chat why the admins and the delegates, why there are two positions. And let me say that the decisions to make these two roles were done 4 or 5 years ago as we completed the merger and began discussions with FGS representatives, and then the initial delegate council steering committee that was created to build the delegate council and its operations. And after pretty extensive discussions, we determined that there were really two separate needs for each organization that was a member. Somebody who could serve as literally an account manager and could make sure that the bill got paid. And then the person who would be the official representative and would be called upon more to be more active in their relationship with NGS. Those two different functions had two different needs. We also felt that there was a need to not put a full burden on any one individual. We also felt at the time that it didn't make sense for an officer, particularly the president of an organization, to serve as the delegate because they already had their hands too full anyway. So the idea really is that there are two functions. It should be filled by two different people. That gives us the ability to bring people into the NGS world to understand different roles and potentially move from an admin to a delegate over time. It's part of a leadership pipeline or volunteer development role. But it doesn't have to be that way. Many small organizations don't have the capacity to have two people. And so in special circumstances, one person can serve in both roles. It's just that there are two distinct roles that need to be recognized. One is that there is somebody who has to pay the bill and receive the benefits on behalf of the organization, since an organization can't literally receive something. And then the second piece is the person who is the official representative of that organization to NGS, casts its vote, provides advice and guidance to the NGS board of directors. So that's the two distinct roles. And our preference is for it to be two different distinct people, but it does not have to be.
Thank you, Matt.
That makes some sense?
I'm putting a link in the chat to forum. We had a question about how to get there. If you are an individual member of NGS, you can log in. It's the same login credentials as the main NGS website, both for members and non-members. If you are an individual member, you have access to join a number of different discussion communities. If you are not an NGS member, the only thing you would have access to is if you are your organization's delegate, there is a private organization delegate community that you can see that you automatically have access to as a delegate. And so you can go to that link and log in. And so, yeah. It looks like she just asked that again in the chat. So the link is there and hopefully that's helpful information on that. There is, you do have permission to get some things from the Family History Guide. Eric asked about something like the logo. You can use that same contact us page that we linked earlier. Or if you have Bob Taylor's email address, you can request that from them. They are happy to have you use their logo or provide you with whatever you need if you are looking for stuff to promote the Family History Guide. There are a couple other questions that have been asked in the chat, but I do want to give you all a little bit of time here. If there are some things that anybody wanted to use the raised hand function and ask here in the moment, please feel free. Teresa?
Hi. So question real quick. I know last year the NGS conference had a virtual portion. Will it have the same this year? No, is it?
Unfortunately, no, it won't.
Okay.
Yeah, there will be available for those who are in attendance in Louisville access to all of the sessions recorded. If you are in Louisville, you don't just see the 8 or 10 sessions you can see while you're in Louisville, but you'll have access to recordings of all of those sessions until I believe it's the middle of August. So for those who are in attendance, it's not just the 8 or 10 sessions that you can see while you're on the ground in Louisville, but you'll have access to recordings for all 57 sessions.
Here's my question then. So what if I go ahead and register?
You can't do that. You have
But
to
then
be
I'm
on
not-
site in Louisville in order to get that access.
Well, because I'm going on a 2-week research trip and I'll get back on the 20th of May.
We
And
understand.
no way I can turn around and go back to that in person, because then like 2 weeks later, I'm taking my 10-year-old grandson to DC. So
Yeah, understood, Teresa, for sure. The
Oh, that's
the
a
option
bummer.
that I
That was
would
helpful.
encourage you, the option I would encourage you to do is to consider the virtual week for GRIP in June.
yeah, and I'll be gone during that time. Yeah. So it's all good. It's all
All
good.
right.
There was, what else? What was the other question I had? I don't remember now.
Okay.
Okay,
If
never
it comes
mind.
back to you, just pop back in.
Yeah, it went by.
That's all right. I did want to mention Louise asked about a copy of survey question results. We are recording this session, so this will be on the YouTube, the NGS YouTube channel, in a little while. And then also for the actual surveys that we do for organization members, the one that we did, in 2024, those results, Eric Vaughn helped compile, and we did have a PDF that we made available to our organizations with those results. And we would plan on doing that for any surveys going forward. So if you have anything more specific you were asking about with that, feel free to let us know. And then let's see here, what else? I'm trying to make sure we check a little bit about what else is in the chat. A question about the quarterly and the magazine. How does that work? It really depends on your organization. Obviously, if you pay for a print subscription and you're getting copies mailed to you, then it functions just like it would, with any kind of library system where you're checking out a physical copy to a person. If you do not have that type of setup, if anybody wants to chime in here, we have some organizations that handle it differently depending on, the resources they have, the kind of membership they have. We have some groups that do have like a physical location. And people can come in and use like a specific computer. So it's only, and they can't download anything and stuff like that. So it's sort of a library resource, in a sense. It's a little more complex for groups who don't have a physical location and are spread out, and you have to kind of come up with some systems for that. So again, if anybody wants to share in the chat with Curtis, if that's your situation, or Curtis, if you want to reach out to us and we can talk with you a little more about that and see what might work for you there. Let me share screen share. Let me try to pull up a couple things to answer some questions about where some stuff is. I realized I didn't do this earlier. So most of what you all will need is under the societies and organizations menu on the NGS website, which is just ngsgenealogy.org. That heading has find a society, library, museum, archive, or college program. So if you click on that, it takes you to a searchable directory. If for some reason you don't see your group there or your information is incorrect, please let us know so that we can check that out. There's also a lot under the society and organization resources section. So there's information on the partnerships, Some of that is stuff that your admin has to log in to access, so the admin can download the logos, they can look at the society management resources, the board source downloads, the info and answers, PDF downloads, and that sort of thing. So it's also where you can find the delegate council information, the steering committee, the delegate and admin overviews. There's information on RPAC, the Records Preservation and Access Coalition, that we would love for you to check out. SLAM and Family History Month. And then if you go over to conference, that's where you can link to the conference page. That and forum and GRIP are also under other NGS sites. So if you haven't ever been familiar with the NGS website, those are the places you would want to start. That also would link you to the YouTube channel that we have referenced a few times this evening. So you can go out and find lots of great videos. All the SLAM Idea Showcase entries from the last few years are there, as well as some of the other things we've referenced, like the Org Connects events. So, and Matt just put in the chat, our PAC is having a Hill Day in Washington, D.C. So any of you who might be available for that, that would be great. One of the other things to mention, and Bobby King is on the meeting with us this evening. Hi, Bobby. You can wave, say hi. We do have an option to get your bylaws reviewed, and Bobby does that for us, and we are very appreciative that in 2024 she agreed to let us remove the fee for that, and we went from no organizations using that benefit to 20 organizations in a year using that benefit. So if you need your bylaws review done, Bobby is fantastic, and she is a great resource for us and for you. And that's one of the links under that societies and organizations section. So if you need that, please go there and request a bylaws review. And let me see, there may be some questions we have missed in the chat. Anything else anybody wants to raise your hand or jump in? We've got a few more minutes, so feel free to ask questions.
So you can think that some of the remains human bodies.
So Matt, this is Bobby.
So
Why are you not doing an online conference?
expands beyond the
It might tie into why it's difficult for so many of us societies to keep doing these
Yeah.
hybrid meetings.
And you just put your finger right on the pulse there, Bobby, for why many organizations, and it's not just the genealogical community, are eliminating the hybrid option for conferences because it's just unsustainable to do both. In the post-pandemic era, the facility fees have gotten so high that the risks to organizations in not being able to meet their minimums for facilities are too great to take the risk of doing hybrid events. So it's just a new reality post-pandemic that the costs and the risks are so high that it's just almost impossible to do it.
CIA helicopters fly on a low altitude, military.
I would agree with that. I'm president of our society, and I foresee no hybrid meetings in the future. But that has a caveat because Denver Public Library has terrific facilities, and we work closely with Denver Public Library. But it is tough to accomplish successfully. Thanks.
Thanks, Bobby. Teresa?
So I'm just curious, is that because we do hybrid programs and meetings because we have members that are spread out all over the place. But is that typically societies that are doing like revenue generating events and programs? They're finding more people are attending by Zoom or online, and therefore they're not getting the physical numbers in at a location to meet the minimums required for meals, room rentals, different things like.
Yeah, Teresa, every event is going to be different, but for a
Right.
large national conference like the NGS conference,
Gotcha.
operating in a hybrid environment is the risks are too great for the
Right.
economics that are in operation right now.
Right,
Right,
because no matter what, NGS would have to cover those costs.
Well, we'd have to pass those costs on to our members in terms of the registration fee, but we know what our members are willing to pay for registration, and we just can't go above a certain threshold.
Right.
So that's the main risk, and that's why we are currently not planning for a hybrid event in 2025. Though there will be recordings available for those who are able to come to Louisville. There's a benefit to coming to Louisville because it's an investment to come. There's not only the registration fee, but the travel and the hotel fee. So we want people who are able to come to Louisville to be able to not just see 8 or 10 sessions while they're on the ground there, but to be able to see every single session in a recording for up to, I think it's 6 or 8 weeks after the event ends. You'll be able to see all of that content.
Sure.
So it's a big benefit to being on the ground.
Okay. I'm gonna change subjects, and I feel like I'm in an uncomfortable position. I don't know many of you. But I'm just gonna say this. How is the current actions against DEI programs affecting NGS, who has worked really hard to encourage societies to open their programming and acceptance and everything else to where we are trying to help people.
So I can address that. So NGS is not changing its
It's a
course.
question to ask because I don't
Understood.
know.
Yeah, so Teresa, I appreciate you raising the issue. NGS is not changing course. Our commitment to ethical purpose is based on a foundation of building as inclusive a community for the genealogy world as possible. And we are going to stay focused on that. And we are continuing to be able to provide resources for our member organizations to support that. One of the work areas that we're working on, in addition to the toolkit for the 250th anniversary of America, is a toolkit for inclusion within the genealogy community. So we are staying the course, and our commitment is unwavering.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that because I have to, as president of my society, we are looking at fundraising and applying for grants that would allow us to do specific things. And luckily, I don't believe we've done much application, or we don't have any grants that really help us keep our doors open. But
Teresa, I'm happy to talk to you at length anytime offline
I
about
had
these
concerns.
activities.
I had concerns, and I'm glad to hear that NGS is staying the course. I'm happy to hear that. That makes me feel good. So
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks, Teresa.
Douglas?
No, Douglas, we're not getting your audio clearly.
Sounds like a chipmunk.
How about now?
That's better.
There we go.
That technology, it's always great when it beats you to death. We're still doing hybrid meetings because we're near the Family Search Center in Kensington, and they have a facility set up to be able to do that. So I'd recommend anybody who might be near one to consider that as a possibility if they're set up. So it does allow us to have members, which we picked up during the pandemic, who are in California and Maine, and we're in Maryland. So
That's great.
Douglas, is yours the Montgomery County Society or the Maryland?
Montgomery County.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
It's Roger Prince. I can't find the hand, raise my hand, so I'm raising it physically. I don't know why it's not showing up on Zoom on mine. But anyway, I had a question about technology. We have a lot of different technologies, and in the chat, I've had a little discussion. Somebody suggested that Wild Apricot can do everything we want. We have a Wild Apricot, but it's not doing everything we want. So I just wondered if NGS has recommendations on technology for societies, particularly letting members to members connect, so you create a profile of your interests and you can find other people with the same interests.
Yeah, Roger,
as well as
I will-
managing emails and all of that. So
I will tell you, and just so everyone, I do want to be respectful of everybody's time. We are at our hour. So I'm going to answer Roger's question and then we'll do a couple things to wrap up. And I totally understand if anybody needs to hop off. But if you can stay on for a few more minutes, please do. And we'll try to get to as much as we can here. But Roger, I think you have hit on the thorn in the side of just about every organization in the world. And it really, it's tough. And NGS is actually dealing with that ourselves. A lot of our organization members are. We don't recommend one particular platform. There are lots of them out there. And it really is a process to figure out what you need and what fits best for your organization. There's a lot of options, a lot of price points. And so we really can't speak to, this is the one solution for you or for anybody else. But it is a challenge. It's something we absolutely recognize as a challenge. And like I said, NGS is right there with you. So, this is partly why we have the delegate community on forum. I would absolutely recommend, that would be a great conversation for your organization's delegate to try to get people to weigh in on, and ask, what do other people use? And, just try to get groups to share information between each other. And obviously some people like Wild Apricot. It sounds like you all have found it doesn't quite meet your needs. So, I would say that's a great place to start, is at least, have the delegates talk to each other and see if you can get some people to share what they're using, what they like about it. And that might be a starting point.
If I could encourage in particular, some of the state level societies have done a fantastic job over the last few years in reorganizing their websites, simplifying them, making them easier to understand. And the connective tissue behind those websites is probably what you should be looking to those organizations for. One I would always highly commend is the Ohio Genealogical Society. Seems to be doing a very good job with their site. So you may want to look at the connective tissue OGS is using, Roger.
thanks.
And I know CGS usually leads in some of these areas as well. So
Yeah, we've been
I
leading
haven't
too
looked
many
at your site.
directions at once.
Yeah. And just so you all are aware, the National Genealogical Society, we're about to undertake probably a 2-year project to identify the next candidate software to run the NGS backend. And that's a massive undertaking. So it's a different scale than you're all thinking about, but by the same token, it's a massive ecosystem of companies that provide these services to the associations. And if you want some direction into the association world rather than the genealogy world and how it deals with these softwares, I'm happy to have put together an OrgConnects event just on association software at some point in the future with some leaders from the field.
That would be wonderful.
Could I jump in and just say that there's probably several of us that have some web development experience.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot, but I've developed several websites. And I think it'd be good if we could put together a group of people that can help other societies, but kind of like a pool of experts to go to ask questions and advice. I'd be willing to serve on such a committee.
Scott, you just
the-
volunteered yourself.
That's fine. The other thing is we do kind of a hybrid of our meetings. It's actually done on Zoom, but what we do is watch parties rather than having one big gathering of all the people. We have watch parties scattered around the state and hoping to move out beyond the state, so that, like, for example, a library might have 5 or 10 or 15 people show up to watch the webinar together. And then so over in another part of the state, another group gets together, so that you have that person-to-person connection rather than sitting at home and watching it by yourself. You get the connection with other people, but yet we don't have to pay the huge expenses of some facility that's going to charge us thousands of dollars. We just have the cost of the Zoom. So that brings the cost down, and it still gives you the benefit of that in-person connection, at least for those people that are close enough to a watch party. So we're trying to expand that idea and get more watch parties and figure out how to make that work. But that's something we're working on, and so far it seems to be working moderately well.
That's great, Scott. Thank you. And yeah, in the last poll question, we did really kind of hits at, some of what you just talked about, trying to figure out what are the things our people are needing and what kinds of groups do we potentially need to connect somehow. So thank you. Again, I do want to respect our time. My email is in the chat. If you don't have it, it's ksmith@ngsgenealogy.org. Please email me if you have any questions, if you need anything. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I do want to mention, I know there's been a lot of activity in the chat, a lot of great conversations, some people already connecting with each other, exchanging information. But one of the things we wanted to do tonight is give you the opportunity to connect with each other. If you're comfortable and you want to, feel free to put your name, your organization's name, and your email address in the chat. Everybody can save the chat at the end and save that information. So if any of you want to share your email and let other organization member people contact you, feel free to throw that out there. Because there has been some good ideas, some good conversations. So if there are some people that you want to connect with, go ahead and put your email and your info in the chat and let people find you. And we'll give everybody just a minute to do that. I do want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to the staff and the board members who are here. Thank you to the Delegate Council Steering Committee members who are here. I appreciate everybody staying on for a little bit. We went over our hour. But there's been some really good conversation, and we wanted to make sure you all had a chance to do that tonight. So please continue the conversations. If you are the delegate, go into forum. Like we were just talking about, if you need anything, if you have ideas, that's a place to go ask questions, to share resources. We would love to see you there. And if you're not the delegate, make sure your delegate knows about Forum, is using Forum, and is bringing information back to your organization, or has the information from your organization to be able to share with other people. So thank you very much to everybody for being on tonight. And before you go, save the chat, make sure you're saving information. And we will see you all hopefully in Louisville. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening.
I'll be at Roots Tech. I'll be there.
Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about Roots Tech. Thank you, Teresa. NGS
Yeah.
will be at Roots Tech. I can't believe we didn't mention that.
I know. I'm like so freaked out because I'm like a month away. And if you guys can see my background, I decided I'm gonna find a place here in Lincoln to get this screen printed. And I'm gonna say, if you see your surname, email me. I'm gonna put my email address on it.
Nice. Yes, NGS
Gotta
will be
do something, you know?
So
But
come
yeah,
say
I'm
hi.
looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, come say
It'll
hi.
be
We will
my
have a booth.
it'll be my first in-person Roots Tech. So I am actually going out like 3 days ahead of time to spend some time at the library.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun.
The library usually has extended hours during Roots Tech too.
Oh, yeah. I'm staying at one of the like staycation places. And yeah, so I have every intention of genealogically myself insane for a week. Oh yeah, I love
So-
that. Yeah, I have comfortable shoes and the VA is getting me new ones just in time.
So a quick question. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Zoom changed where save the chat is.
Yeah, it's up at the top.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for being on. We'll let you go. Hopefully you've saved the chat. And for those of you who will be at Roots Tech, all of the NGS staff will be there. And we
can't
look
wait.
forward to seeing you. And I know we've got a few other members and volunteers who will be there as well. So we will get you more information about that before Roots Tech. And then hopefully we'll see you in Louisville. So thank you, everybody. Have a great evening and
All
end of
right.
your week. Thank you
Great.
so much.